Hello everyone, welcome to CNA, the daily newspaper analysis. So today we are back with the following content of list to discuss. So let's discuss. The first topic says about the India Net Zero plan. So recently we could see that the COP27, okay, where India announces a long-term strategy in the Glasgow. Okay, so therefore today we could see that the United Nations Conference of Parties in the region of Sharm el Sheikh, India announced its long term strategy to transition to a low emission pathway, apart from becoming an international hub for producing green hydrogen and increasing the proportion of ethanol in petrol. So now the steps were very much consonant with India's 5 decade journey to net zero, that is, the period of around 2070. Okay? So this was a commitment done by our Prime Minister of India at Glasgow, where the 26th COP was held. So while 195 member countries were signatories to the UN climate agreements, were obliged to submit the long-term document by 2022, only 57 countries, including India, have done so. So देख सकते हो कि out of only 195 member countries, only 57 have submitted about their document, about their aim to preserve this climate change. So यहाँ पे बोला गया है about the LTLEDS, that is the long term low emission development strategy. Okay, that is LTLEDS, long term low emission development strategy. ये बहुत important acronym है, याद रखना. So this has been prepared in the framework of India's right to an equitable and fair share of global carbon budget. So these LTLEDs are qualitative in nature and are requirement generating from the 2015 Paris Agreement, whereby countries must need to explain that how they will go for the transitions of their economies beyond achieving near-term the targets. Okay, and how could make some of the greater objectives of cutting the emissions by 45% of the level of 2005 by 2030. तो ये सब दो तीन एम है of our central government who are basically committed of going in ahead of this climate change, to tackle the thing of climate change and going for a net zero by the around 2070. So therefore, India aspires to maximum the use of electric vehicles with ethanol blending, which could reach by 20% by 2025, which is currently paxed at around 10%. And this is directly a strong shift to public transport for passenger and freight traffic. So now India will also have a focus on improving energy efficiency, that is to perform, achieve and trade. तो ये बहुत एक इम्पॉर्टेंट हम लोग का एक इम्प्रूविंग हम लोग का अचीवमेंट करने का एक तरीका है, दैट इज द पैट स्कीम, परफॉर्म, अचीव एंड ट्रेड. उसके अलावा द नेशनल हाइड्रोजन मिशन, इंक्रीजिंग इलेक्ट्रिफिकेशन, जैसे आज हम लोग का रेलवेज हो रहे हैं, ठीक है, एनहांसिंग मटेरियल एफिशिएंसी एंड रिसाइकलिंग एंड वेस्ट टू रिड्यूस एमिशंस. जैसे रिड्यूस एमिशंस के लिए हम लोग BS4 से डायरेक्टली BS6 तक आ गए थे, हम लोग BS5 को टोटली स्किप कर दिए थे. सो देयरफॉर टुडे if we needs to get updated with the or to prevent the climate change agreements by preventing some of the global temperatures risings beyond 1.5 degree or 2 degrees Celsius, it is very important that the nationally determined contributions, which are basically the voluntary commitments by countries to reduce emissions, okay, it must be very much updated. And this is what even scientists say, which offers the best chance for every country in keeping the temperature rise below 1.5 degrees Celsius so that they could contribute in the whole world climate change. So therefore, this net zero, which basically means cutting the greenhouse gas emissions as close to zero as possible, with the remaining emissions reabsorbed from the atmosphere by the oceans and the forests, for instance. तो यहाँ पे इसीलिए we can see that the race to zero and the pledged of going in from some huge producing of this greenhouse gases to zero, it is directly a pledge taken by the country like India, and this pledge is very much of rigorous and needs some of the immediate action to have a global emission reduced by 2030 and carbon neutral by around 2070. ठीक है, और इसके लिए हम लोग को ये टेम्परेचर कायम करना बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है। ठीक है, तो इसीलिए यहाँ पे जो हम लोग का नेट जीरो प्लान है, ये यहाँ पे COP27 में हम लोग एक डॉक्यूमेंट दिए हैं कि हम लोग क्या करेंगे, ओके, टू गो अहेड विद द प्रोसेस ऑफ आवर प्रॉमिस दैट वी हैव डन इन COP26। ओके, तो ये था अबाउट द इंडियाज नेट जीरो प्लान। नेक्स्ट आते हैं कश्मीर लॉन्ग पर्शियन इन्फ्लेक्शन। ठीक है, तो रिसेंटली यहाँ पे एक एग्जीबिशन हुआ था जहां पे बोला गया है दैट व्हाट इज द पर्शियन इन्फ्लेक्शन दैट हैज स्लोली एंड स्लोली गेटिंग लॉस्ट इन कश्मीर। ठीक है, तो एक टाइम में कश्मीर को मिनी ईरान बोलते थे बिकॉज ऑफ द इन्फ्लुएंस ऑफ दिस पर्शियन लैंग्वेज, पर्शियन कल्चर। सो द पर्शियन लैंग्वेज इन द इंडियन सबकॉन्टिनेंट was before the arrival of even Britishers also. When the lingua franca and a widely used official language in North India was basically Persian. So this language was brought into South Asia by various Turki as well as Afghan dynasties. And that was directly coming in from 11th centuries onwards. And the notables of being the Ghaznavis, the Delhi Sultanate, and the Mughal dynasty. So the Persian held official status in the court, and the administration within these empires, okay, is basically saying about the language of Persia. It later on replaced Sanskrit as the language of politics, literature, education, and social status in the subcontinent. So the spread of Persian closely followed the political and religious growth of Islam in the Indian subcontinent. So, however, Persian historically played the role of an overarching and connecting the diverse people of the region. So today, if we see about the presence of this Persian language, it is just because of the people who have basically come over here to invade the areas. So this Persian linguistic legacy in the region is very much apparent through its impact on the Indo-Aryan languages. And it's a formative role in the emergence of Hindustani. And they have a strong influence on Punjabi, Sindh, Gujarati, Kashmiri, and also some of the other languages like the Bengali, Marathi, Rajasthani, and even Uriya, where we can also have a considerable amount of loan words from Persian. Okay, so therefore we could see that today in Kashmir, okay, in the Kashmir Valley, which is the region after Punjab, which was heavily impacted by Persian. And though it had long been a center of Sanskrit literature, the language was in decline from the 13th century due to internal social factors. And Persian was introduced to the region during the time period of 14th century, and it's spreading through the Islamization of Kashmir by the early Sufi saints such as Mir Sayyid Ali Hamadani. And the emergence of the native Shah Mir dynasty shortly after saw Persian becoming the official language of the administration. So some of its members patronize various kinds of literature under the Persian influence. So this Persian enjoyed a superior position in the valley and as a prestige language from its earlier days. So various number of poetries, histories, biographies were among some of the works which were produced in Persian in the initial years. And the Iranians who often migrated to Kashmir and the region was better known in the Persianate word as Iran e Sahgir. ओके, तो यहाँ पर्शियन वर्ड में इसको बोलते हैं ईरान ए सगीर। ओके, किसको बोलते थे? कश्मीर को बोलते थे। दैट मीन्स लिटिल ईरान, छोटा ईरान। So the historical prevalence of Persian in the region is illustrated in the case of even the Kashmiri Pandits, who adopted Persian in place of their ancestral language, that is Sanskrit, and in order to make Hindu teachings more accessible to the population, they translated texts such as Ramayana and even the Shiva Purana, even composing some of the hymns in the praise of Shiva through the medium of Ghazal. So some of the earliest Persian literature of the region, in fact, constituted such translation of Sanskrit words under various Shahmirs, and even we could see about the Kashmir's Raja Tarangini, which was translated into Bahar al-Asmar. And the efforts of these Pandits added Hindu astronomical and medical treatise to the literature. Even if you see about the important dynasty of the Kashmir, that is the Dogra dynasty. So the Dogra dynasty and the advent of the Dogra dynasty, which was under the British suzerainty in 1849, led to the decline of the Persian in Kashmir. And although they inherited and used the Persian administrative system, social changes brought by them led to Urdu being instituted as the language of administration in 1889. तो ये जो एक लंबा सा टेन्योर था ऑफ पर्शिया, ऑफ द पर्शियन लैंग्वेजेस, तो ये पर्शियन लैंग्वेज के साथ जो टेन्योर है आज ये खत्म होने के तादाद पे है. सो यहाँ पे जब ये एग्जीबिशन चल रहा था तो हम देख सकते हैं कि हाउ मच दिस मैन्युस्क्रिप्ट्स, दिस बुक्स आर वेरी मच लेस इन दिस एरिया where in one time it was often known as mini Iran. तो यहाँ पे देख सकते हो, this is the area, okay, where you can see the region of Iran. Okay, you can see the Gulf of Oman over here. You can see this Persian Gulf over here. This is a very important region. Okay, you can see the extension of the empire, that is the Persian Empire. Okay, so you can see the extension. ये बहुत ज्यादा था, तो यहाँ पे देख सकते हो ये पर्शियन गल्फ है, ये यहाँ पे अरबियन सी है, यहाँ पे गल्फ ऑफ ओमान है. Okay, so these are the important elements that you can see today where the conditions of Persian languages is slowly and slowly declining in Kashmir. ठीक है, चलो. Sealed fund एक छोटा सा टॉपिक था about the elements of the CO, about the elements in the G20. Okay, so not G20, यहाँ पे we could see about the recently in the COP27. Okay, so Global Shield plans launched at the COP27 Climate Summit aims to get money to poor nations faster after disasters. Okay, so basically, the Global Shield is a plan of G7 led, which was launched at the COP27, which the summit was held during in Egypt. So Egypt में ये summit हुआ था. So this Global Shield is a funding mechanism that provides funding to countries suffering climate disasters. So यहाँ पे coordinators कौन है? The group of 7 countries and the V20 countries. V20 countries कौन है? The climate vulnerable countries. And what are the objective of this this shield fund? So it will close some of the urgent protection gaps in countries by designing, funding, and facilitating some form of interventions. Okay, so it is basically a pre-arranged insurance and disaster protection funding after events such as floods, droughts, and hurricanes. So this global shields aims to complement and not replace the progress on loss and damage. Okay, so now the countries will lead on identifying some of the key protection gaps, and this shield will provide a set of adequate instruments and partners to close these gaps in the most efficient and effective way. Okay, तो यहाँ पे Pakistan will be among the first recipients of this funding from this G7 Global Shield initiative. क्योंकि हम लोग जानते हैं पाकिस्तान का क्या हाल हो गया था recently because of floods. Okay, so ये जो कैटास्ट्रोफीज है जो एक कंट्री को बर्बाद करके छोड़ते हैं, इसीलिए G7 ने ये वाला फंड शुरू किया है, and Pakistan will be the first recipient of this fund. Okay, because Pakistan is also considered amongst the V20 countries, that is the vulnerable 20 who are vulnerable towards every forms of climate change. ठीक है, तो ये था एक फंड associated with climate change. Next पे आते हैं project to track small fishing vessels. Okay, so recently there has been a news and reports that projects launched to track the small shipping vessels, okay, along the Indian coast. Okay, and the third edition of the Pan India Coastal Defense Exercise, the Sea Vigil 2022, is scheduled to help in between 15th to 16th of November, and that is to test the coastal security of India. तो ये एक पैन इंडिया कोस्टल एक्सरसाइज है, और ये एक्सरसाइज का नाम याद रखना बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, एक्सरसाइज सी विजिल, और ये 2022 में अभी चलने वाला है. ओके, 15-16 तारीख को. सो व्हाट आर द डिफरेंट प्रोजेक्ट्स टू ट्रैक स्मॉल फिशिंग वेसल्स? पहला है ऑटोमेटिक आइडेंटिफिकेशन सिस्टम, which was made compulsory for all vessels above 22 meters after the 2008 terrorist attacks in Mumbai. Okay, और next क्या है? Vehicle management system. It is an advanced feature that enables two-way communication, and the technology has been handed over to around various number of other companies for various commercial productions. So trials were conducted in associations with the ISRO on one of their communication satellites last year along the coast of Gujarat and Tamil Nadu. लेकिन अभी ये पूरे हम लोग के coastal areas में होंगे. That is to track every form of vehicles, okay, and their respective management. इसके बाद और एक technology है which says about the railcraft. Okay, railcraft means what? Registration एंड लाइसेंसिंग ऑफ फिशिंग क्राफ्ट। ओके, तो इसको बोलते हैं हम लोग रियल क्राफ्ट, नॉट रॉयल, सॉरी, REAL, रियल, रियल क्राफ्ट, CRAFT। तो रजिस्ट्रेशन एंड लाइसेंसिंग ऑफ फिशिंग क्राफ्ट। ठीक है, तो ये क्या होता है? इट इज द वेरिफिकेशन एंड मॉनिटरिंग ऑफ अ लार्ज नंबर ऑफ फिशिंग वेसल्स इन इंडिया दैट हैज बीन ग्रेनली ईज्ड बाय द क्रिएशन ऑफ ऑनलाइन रियल। ओके, तो यहाँ पे हम लोग उसको मॉनिटर करेंगे। देन वी सी अबाउट द बायोमेट्रिक आइडेंटिटी कार्ड्स, BIC। तो इसको बोलते हैं issuance of this BIC to the majority of the fishermen and composite card readers, so to provide maritime security agencies to enable some of the biometric verification and identity of the fishing vessel crews at the sea. इसके बाद है हम लोग का इंडो पैसिफिक मैरिटाइम डोमेन अवेयरनेस, and through this awareness we are directly trying to help with the getting help from the quad countries so that we could have a greater access of such number of fishing vessels which are directly coming in from the other area to the area of the Indian Ocean region. ठीक है, तो यहाँ पे थोड़ा हम लोग का जो विजिल है वो फास्ट हो जाएगा। ठीक है, सो दिस इनॉग्रल एडिशन ऑफ दिस एक्सरसाइज ऑफ सी विजिल वाज स्टार्टेड ड्यूरिंग द टाइम पीरियड ऑफ 2019 and it is billed as India's largest coastal defense drill. So the exercise is built up towards the major theater level readiness operational exercises जिसको हम लोग बोलते हैं TROPEX, TROPEX, that is क्या है? Theater level of readiness operational exercises which the Indian Navy conducts every 2 years. So in this 2022 editions, we could see that how much this exercise Sea Visual will provide a realistic assessment of India's strength and weakness, and thus will help in further strengthening the maritime and national security. So this exercise will see activation of various number of coastal security apparatus and across India, and is being conducted by the Indian Navy in coordination with the Coast Guard and various other ministries that are entrusted with the tasks of maritime activities. So this exercise will undertaken amongst the entire 7516.6 किलोमीटर, ओके, जो कि इंडिया का एक्सक्लूसिव, सॉरी, जो कि इंडिया का एक लंबा कोस्ट लाइन है 7516.6 किलोमीटर, where India will involve all the coastal states and the UTs along with other maritime stakeholders including the fishermen and the coastal communities. So this sea vessel and this TROPEX together will cover the entire spectrum of maritime security challenges, including transition from peace to conflict. Okay, so it provides opportunity at the apex level to access the country's preparedness in the domain of maritime security and coastal defense. ठीक है, तो ये था हम लोग का about the maritime exercise that we need to take place between the time period of 15 and 16 November. ठीक है, नेक्स्ट पे आते हैं। जो बाइडेन एंड सी जिनपिंग, ये छोटा सा एक न्यूज था अबाउट द टू क्रिएचर्स, ओके, दैट इज वन बेसिकली आवर नेबर एंड वन बेसिकली आवर गुड फ्रेंड। तो यहाँ पे हम लोग जानते हैं कि ये दोनों हैंडशेक किए हैं ऑन द साइडलाइंस ऑफ द G20 समिट दैट इज गोइंग ऑन इन द कंट्री ऑफ इंडोनेशिया। सो नाउ यहाँ पे दोनों के बीच में तो जो डिफरेंसेस है वो डिफरेंसेस टू रिस्पॉन्सिबली मैनेज करने का यहाँ पे बात बोला गया है। ताइवान के इश्यू में बारे में बोला गया है, एक्सेस टू द ओपन सीज के बारे में यहाँ पे डिस्कस किया गया है। ठीक है, तो यहाँ पे एक फेस टू फेस मीटिंग हुआ है एंड दिस इज द फर्स्ट टाइम दिस मैन दैट इज जो बाइडेन इज मीटिंग द चाइनीज काउंटर पार्ट, ओके, जस्ट आफ्टर ही वॉज इलेक्टेड टू बी द प्रेसिडेंट। आज तक कभी आमने सामने फेस टू फेस बात नहीं हुआ है। ठीक है, so today they are directly talking about resolving every type of disputes and coming into some form of agreement to maintain some of the economic stability on the whole world. ठीक है, तो ये छोटा सा न्यूज था अबाउट दिस टू पीपल्स, ओके, लेकिन यहाँ पे कोई मेजर डिक्लेरेशन निकल के नहीं आए हैं, बस बोला है कि हाँ चलो बात करेंगे, बात करके अपने आप के डिफरेंसेस छुट जाएंगे। ठीक है, तो यही सब थोड़ा बहुत बात किया है। ठीक है, नेक्स्ट पे आते हैं। लास्टली गोइंग विद द एडिटोरियल, तो यहाँ पे स्टेइंग सेफ ऑनलाइन के बारे में बोला गया है। सो इंडिया हैज वन ऑफ द यंगेस्ट यूथ डेमोग्राफिक्स इन द वर्ल्ड, ओके, जिसको हम लोग को बहुत बड़ा जो एक्टिव रहता है मोनली इन द ऑनलाइन साइट्स, तो यहाँ पे हम लोग का बहुत बड़ा चैलेंज है कि हाउ वी कुड प्रोटेक्ट दिस इंडिविजुअल्स, द चिल्ड्रन, फ्रॉम द इन्फ्लुएंस ऑफ दिस ऑनलाइन थ्रेट्स। ठीक है, सो द चिल्ड्रन ऑफ द करंट जनरेशन आर एक्सपोज्ड टू द वर्ल्ड दैट इज इंक्रीजिंगली पावर्ड बाय वर्चुअल रियलिटी एंड आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस। फॉर एग्जाम्पल, आज एलेक्सा कौन नहीं जानते? बच्चे बच्चे एलेक्सा जानते हैं। आज यूट्यूब कौन नहीं जानते? सब जानते हैं। So the Industrial Revolution 4.0 has brought two main concerns towards child safety and growth opportunities. One, universal access to digital connectivity, and second, secure digital space for children. So what are the possible threats today that children are directly enlarging just because of the premature exposure to the AI. First, the concern is for the child safety. Because, for instance, many digital platforms such as Fortnite, Battle Royale, okay, provide online space for children to socialize with their friends. But such platforms also serve as honey spots for child predators, and surveillance or supervision by parents over child's online activity has also become more difficult due to digitalization of education. Second, क्या होता है? Digital addiction. In another major concern, we could see that today's world, the AI driven world, okay, the children are likely attracted to their online sites, and this makes them prey towards digital addiction. Third, it disturbs their cognitive growth because at a very young age, for instance, their earlier exposure to the negative side of the digital space, such as fake news, conspiracies, theories, okay, online bullying, hate speech, it disturbs their understanding of this world. And fourth, the concern over hacking and spying on children. Because, for instance, many artificial intelligence toys are used to promote enhanced literacy, social skills, and language development. However, they also collect data of the children in the absence of any regulatory framework. Even recently, we have got a case in Germany where the Kyla, C-A-Y-L-A, search करके देख लेना Kyla क्या है, C-A-Y-L-A. Okay, so it is an internet connected doll, and because of concerns that it could be hacked and used to spy on children, ये proof किया गया है वहां पे. Okay, so that's the thing today we could see about the Kyla. Also, this uses of this AI in education, it improves educational outcomes, but it also brings new challenges. For example, if I say about the pedagogical approaches to the child's need, such as intelligent tutoring systems, tailored curriculum plans, engaging interactive learning experiences can improve educational outcomes. But however, today we could see that the education system is basically failing. Kyun? Because the AI algorithms can deprive thousands of students of colleges admissions and scholarships. And the second one, open access to education and performance data on children can harm their future opportunities. So now what needs to be done? First, we need to reduce the digital divide gap by providing internet access to all the children. Second, there need for legal and technological safeguards to regulate these AI products. For example, मैं अगर बताऊं about the technological safeguards like the trustworthy certification and rating system, legal safeguards like banning anonymous accounts, restriction on algorithm manipulation, profiling and data collection, ये सब करना पड़ेगा. Third, what we need? It needs to create greater awareness amongst parents, guardians, and children on how AI works to prevent them for future online risk. And fourth, we should go for enforcing some of the ethnic principles of non-discrimination and fairness in the policy and design of the AI system. So if you go for all such things, even today, we have got the laws and police who can prevent a range of abuses and violence under the National Policy for Children 2013, which can be even be extended for children in digital space. So therefore, a recent landmark decision by the UN Committee of the Rights of the Child to implement the Convention on the Rights of the Child and fulfilling all children's rights in the digital environment is a step in the right direction, which will also ensure the ethical artificial intelligence for generation of this number of platforms. तो ये बहुत आज इंपॉर्टेंट हो गया है कि how we could implement the Convention on the Rights of the Child and how we could fulfill all children rights in the digital environment through proper monitoring and through proper ethical use of the AI. तो therefore यहाँ पे वही सब डिस्कस किया गया है कि how we could protect the children today who are basically very much concentrated towards the online platforms, basically everything that may be controlled by the respective artificial intelligence. तो यहाँ पे वही सब बात बोला गया है about how to stay safe online. ठीक है, चलो ये था आज के लिए. We have got this 5 number of MCQs. Please do attempt these MCQs. Okay, we have got one mains question also. Please do attempt this mains question and send it to us. You can send this and join our WhatsApp as well as Telegram group channel so as to get some further updates as well as to get some of the free study materials. So that's all for today. Thank you and Jai Hind.